Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. So it is finally spring. As of yesterday, it was the first day of spring. You know what that means. It's seed starting time. For many people, you might have already started your seeds. I previously started my seeds in February, but that also doesn't mean that I'm done starting seeds. One of the number one things that you want to make sure that you start as of now is your peppers and your tomatoes. Your tomatoes take anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks, and your peppers can take much longer than that. You want to make sure that you're transplanting a good sized transplant of a pepper or tomato into your garden when it is warm enough outside. So definitely make sure that you have those tomatoes and peppers started. Now this will all be based depending on your area. My last frost day is towards the end of May. Again, I am moving to a completely new zone, new area. It is about 4.5, 5 hours away from where I am right now. So with that said, the temperature changes quite drastically. The frost date changes about a week and a half compared to here. So I had to start my seeds a little bit later, but at the same time, make sure that I did start them at the correct time. You're gonna wanna make sure that if you haven't already, make sure that you start any onions if you're starting from seed. If you're starting from sets, that's okay, don't worry about it. But yeah, definitely if you're starting from seed, make sure you do your onions and your leeks and your celery, because all of those things take a long time to germinate and a long time to get established. Speaking of which, another thing that takes a long time to get established is herbs. So a lot of different types of herbs take anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks and sometimes much longer. Now with a simple herb such as basil, this can take anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks, which is quite easy. But when it comes to oregano takes 6 to 8 weeks or even longer. You want to make sure that when you start your seeds, they have enough time to get established before you start hardening them off and then transplanting. Also, some things that I got started this month was some brassicas. So brassicas are kind of things that are the dark green leafy, so like cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, those types of things. With these ones, these are from the West Coast Seed Company. These actually tell me that I should start them in March to mid-June. And get them out as soon as possible. They don't mind a cold snap. They don't mind the freezing temperatures. So that is a-okay. And especially like something like this early purple broccoli, this takes 150 days. And I can guarantee you that if I planted this in the ground at the last frost date, or even a couple weeks before, I still wouldn't get a broccoli. And that is because my gardening season is smaller. So it's about anywhere between 120 to 130-ish days, give or take. So that means that a lot of stuff does need to be started inside. And this broccoli definitely needs to be started early so that you can harvest it and enjoy it. And lastly, something that we definitely want to start is some of your flowers. Here I have some of my perennial flowers that I've started. I have some lupin, daisy, hibiscus, carnation, malva, and some black-eyed Susans. So they're slowly coming up, and they take a long time to germinate, so it's definitely a good idea to get a head start on them in March. With my approximate last frost date, I am prepared to keep some of this stuff inside. Some of it is frost hardy, so it will go out, but at the new house, I may have to keep it inside longer. Depending on the weather, it will be different. I don't know how it is up there. Either way, I've started things in a little bit bigger of a container. I have these little 2 to 3 inch little pots. I also have some trays that I just showed you and some even bigger seed starting pots to start bigger plants in. The seedlings don't struggle in transport, and if they have to wait a little bit longer for the weather to stabilize. So I think this month starting seeds indoors is definitely a good idea. If you haven't already started, I definitely get started on some things. Maybe leave some things for later. I definitely wouldn't start any squash or melons right now. There is still some snow on the ground, even though it's like 10 degrees outside. And that's plus 10 for all of my US people, Celsius. So that's warm for us. But yeah, definitely make sure that if you haven't already started, get started on planting some seeds. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. We are preparing for this really big move and I can't wait for all of you to join me. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the tour of the new farm and everything that comes with building a homestead from scratch. And there's going to be a lot of successes and a lot of failures, but I'm ready for it. So thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.